Hello Scratchers, how are you doing? I hope you're all doing wonderful. In this video we are going to implement gravity in Scratch. What do we need to learn about gravity? Gravity has a lot of applications in games. If you're a gamer, you probably know Flappy Bird, Super Mario, and many platformer games that require jumping and falling. Why is that relevant? Because when you jump up, you don't just keep going up, you come down because of the gravity. So, without further ado, let's cut to the chase. Welcome to Kitty Code Ninja tutorial. This is Eddie and this is your place to learn to code and have fun. Alright, so first thing, let's define the event. So when start clicked, let's say I want to start from when the cat is in this location. So I drag it to the location that I want, and as a result I can see that these two numbers, minus 31 and 89, are updated with my movements. So you see, so I drag it here. Okay, now let's see how falling would look like. How about if we say forever, so from control, forever, change y by a negative number, like small -1 steps being repeated forever. So like -1, -1, -1 until forever. So what happens if I click start? Okay, I'm gonna attach it to this one so that it knows after start I want it to happen. So it goes down, but it doesn't look like it's falling, because how about the gravity? If the effect of gravity was included, it should not go down at a constant speed. It should become faster and faster and faster as it's falling down. So it should be much faster when it's getting closer to the ground. So in order to fix this, as I said, I do not want a constant value for the speed, but I want a variable. So I'm going to define a variable, and I'm going to name it y velocity. So this is a name that is commonly used for this situation. It's basically the vertical speed, but I'm just using the name that is often used so that when you see it in other codes, you will recognize it easier. So y velocity is basically the speed across the y direction. So I'm gonna put the y velocity instead of -1, and I'm gonna set my variable also to -1. So far nothing is changed, so I only used the variable and I assigned the same value to it, but now I'm gonna use this variable in a better way. And something is wrong here, which is I forgot to change this to y velocity, so I change it first. One more thing I'm gonna do is, so far I've only replaced y velocity with -1, so still the same, but I want the y velocity to be changed within every loop. So what I'm gonna do is change y velocity by -1. So every round that this loop is executed, the speed is changed to 1 one more negative one. So I'm gonna drag this here, and then if I play, so now you see it's kind of like this. Actually the cat is falling and the speed is increasing. In order to show it better, I'm gonna put a weight here. So a bit of weight. Okay, now if you look at this number, you see it's slowly increasing. It's now, the more it comes down, the increase is also more. So the closer it gets to the ground, it's coming down faster. Okay, now let's get rid of this weight. I'm gonna create also a new variable, and I'm gonna name it gravity. And then I'm gonna add one more step, which is setting the initial value for gravity, not initial, just like setting the value of gravity to, let's say 1, or it can be less if, let's say, I was on the moon, or depending on the amount of gravity that I want, depending on how hard I want it to fall down, I can change the amount of gravity. And then here, instead of saying change v velocity by -1, I'm gonna use gravity here, and I'm gonna change it by velocity minus gravity. Oh, y velocity minus gravity. Oop. Come on here. Okay, go up. Okay, now it's good. Also, I can change it back to 0 y velocity because gravity is gonna reduce it anyway. Now let's see what happens. The good thing about writing this way is, let's say I'm gonna go to the moon and the gravity is much less, just let's say 0.2. Now it might be even less. It's becoming faster actually. So if I put it 1, it's not actually much noticeable. Let's say if it was 10, a really huge gravity is super fast, but if it's like this number, very much slower. I mean, the increase of the speed is much slower. Okay. Let's also experiment with changing this initial y velocity to a different number. Right now that is 0. I'm aiming to just right away go down. But what if I change it to a positive value? Let's say I'm putting 12 here. So let's see what happens is it goes up a bit first. It didn't come back. Oh, the reason it's not coming down is actually here I need to set the velocity to this number, but not changing it. So let's drag set y velocity to, and then this value, and this one, the top one, was wrong, so I put it here. So I'm gonna set the y velocity to some positive number so that the cat jumps a little bit up and then down. So look once more, it goes a little up and then comes down. So now let's make it a little more interactive. So I'm gonna change this back to 0, and then I'm going to control the cat with my space bar, so that when I'm pressing the space bar, I want the cat to jump up, and then when I'm releasing it, I just want it to let the gravity pull it down. So I'm gonna put a key if space, I just want to put it right up. If the space key is pressed from that sensing, if key space pressed, only in that situation I'm going to set y velocity to a positive number. So set y velocity to maybe 7, and now let's see. So with space, actually, so if it's not pressed, I want to put this back and also this one out. So now with pressing the space, I'm controlling it, but when I'm not pressing, so if you listen to my keyboard, I'm pressing, it goes up, I'm releasing, it goes down. It's very useful in game development. If you follow the line and could make the same thing, congratulations. I hope you liked it. If you did, don't forget to press like and help me to be known in this YouTube ocean. Share with your friends, subscribe, and thank you so much, and see you next week.